Okay, we're through 4 weeks of the college football season. We've gone through non-conference play already. You know what? Let's update the power rankings in the Big Ten. What's going on, guys? Six Report here, back to another video, and as I said in the beginning, we are going to update the Big Ten power rankings. Which teams have moved up, which teams have moved down, and what teams have been exactly what we expected throughout this year. Let's break it down with one of the worst teams in all of college football this year. Nico Imolava's decision to go to UCLA looks like was a major mistake because the Bruins have been awful. Just awful. They're 0-3. They lost to New Mexico. They didn't just lose to New Mexico. They got destroyed by New Mexico. They lost to UNLV, and they also lost to Utah. They got crushed by them. It has not been a good start for them so far, and they've already let go of head coach Deshaun Foster. We're going to see how that affects UCLA after the season. We've already seen some commits, decommit, open things back up. We'll see who transfers, and at the end of the day, UCLA, it is not looking good for them right now. At number 17, we have Northwestern, who are off to a 1-2 start. Transfer quarterback Preston Stone has been bad. Really bad. He has twice as many interceptions as touchdowns, and it's just not a good start for them at this point. I mean, they started the year with a blowout loss to Tulane, where they just kept turning the ball over. It has not been good right now for Northwestern, and they have UCLA coming up. They cannot afford to have UCLA get their first win against them. For Northwestern, I said this was a team that was either going to be good or bad, and it looks like they are bad. Okay, Purdue has already accomplished something this year. They're 2-2, so they already have more wins than they had all of last year. That's a really good sign for them, okay? They're moving in the right direction, it seems. But the only question is, how many more wins do they get this year? I'm not entirely sure, and we're not going to know really until the year ends. But for Purdue, I would like to see them get to at least 4 wins on the year. It really would show that they are in the right direction of building this culture back up and really just putting last year way behind them. At number 15, Rutgers is a team I have mixed feelings about. The offense is looking pretty good. Even with losing their best player from last year, the offense is able to score points. The only problem is the defense has given up a lot of points on their own. I mean, against Iowa had their best offensive performance of the season so far. That's not something you really want to hear about your defense. So really with the Scarlet Knights, can they improve defensively as the season goes on and get back to a bowl game? I mean, we'll see. But right now for Rutgers, I am deeply concerned with their defense. Speaking of being concerned, at number 14, I am really concerned right now with this Wisconsin offensive line. Normally with Wisconsin, you can always book for them to have a terrific offensive line just always, but that may not be the case this year. And yeah, I know it's a young offensive line, but it's not as if the team that they were just playing against, Maryland, had a defense that was full of veterans. Maryland's one of the youngest teams in all of college football. I'll be talking about them later. But for Wisconsin, I mean, they just got manhandled by this Maryland defense. Wisconsin, they were shut out in the first half. Their first points came off a field goal, and the touchdown they got was in garbage time. That is not a good sign for a Wisconsin team that I didn't know what to make of this year, and right now I'm just concerned that they just don't have the offensive strength that they have had in years past. And it also didn't help that Billy Edwards got hurt in literally the first game of the season and is still not 100% right now. I mean, he was taken out of the game against Maryland, and for Wisconsin, it's tough. It really is. At number 13, for Michigan State, there's some good in there. Aiden Childs is doing exactly what I wanted him to do. He's performing well, and Michigan State is scoring points. The only problem is they're not that consistent. All right? Against Boston College, they had to take that team to double overtime. It was 42-40. Not something you like to see. And then against USC, they just got dominated. They gave up 45 points. And yeah, they scored 31, but that game, it wasn't even that close. The final score is very deceiving in that front. But again, Childs is doing exactly what I wanted him to do, and that's a good sign. but Michigan State, they've got to be more consistent. I had this team as a potential breakout team, but it's just not there yet. Minnesota is really tough to judge, mainly because they've only played 3 games, and their last one didn't turn out so well. So right now with Minnesota, these next few games are going to be a telling point to where we are going to see their season. So whether it's going to be they barely make a bowl game or they get 8 or 9 wins, these next few games are really going to show just what this Minnesota team is all about this year. At number 11, it's the same issues that we've had every year with Iowa. When are they going to get consistency on offense? It still has not happened, and it really is a concern because all they need is consistency on offense, and they can make noise in the Big Ten. We've seen it before, but we haven't seen it in a long time because that consistency just isn't there. And you have to wonder, with everything that they have done to try to change it, when do we see it actually come to fruition? When do we see that consistency from the offensive side of the ball, again, from the Iowa Hawkeyes? That's the question. Hey, didn't I tell you Maryland could move into the top 10 rather quickly? Didn't I say that? I think I did. Yeah, I definitely did. That's exactly what's happened. Maryland is number 10. They are off to a fantastic start. They're 4-0, and they're coming off a win against Wisconsin in Madison. That is one of the toughest places to play in all of college football, and they dominated Wisconsin. And yeah, I said I am deeply concerned with the offensive line, but as I mentioned, it's not as if Maryland has this veteran team. They're doing this with a bunch of guys that are first-year starters or true freshmen or transfers. That is amazing what Maryland has done so far. And Malik Washington, man, he looks like a contender for Freshman of the Year. He's been that good. And the offensive line has done a great job protecting him. The only question is, can they get consistency in the running game? If they can get consistency in the running game, oh my goodness, look out for this offense. And one more thing. Those freshman pass rushers are amazing. Okay? Sidney Stewart and Zaire Mathis, man, those two are a dynamic duo over there. Coming in at number 9 is Nebraska, who is off to a 3-1 start. Now, they did just lose to Michigan. That was a 30-27 loss. And yes, there are no moral victories and losses, but at the end of the day, Nebraska is off to a good start, and I could definitely see them get into the top 5 of the Big Ten at the end of the season if they can continue to play like they have been playing. Dylan Raiola, otherwise known as Dylan Mahomes, is having a really good season so far. And yes, he has made a lot of Mahomes-esque plays early on. I honestly can't wait to see what Matt Rule and this Nebraska team does towards the end of the year. They could really make some noise. Speaking of the team that did just beat Nebraska, Michigan, they're also off to a 3-1 start. They lost to Oklahoma, but hey, you know what? They were coming into the season with a lot of questions, and while Bryce Underwood hasn't been spectacular as a true freshman quarterback, he's been solid. And that's really what Michigan needs right now, just a solid quarterback. And I do expect Underwood to continue to get better as the season goes on, and I really want to see what happens during those final few games, because that's when we could really see what he's capable of. So Michigan, it's a good start. Now they just have to keep it up. And we're going to see if they can keep that winning streak against Ohio State alive at the end of the year. At number 7, we have Washington, who's about to play Ohio State. Now, they're coming off a bye. They have a 3-0 record. It's looking good right now. But this game against Ohio State is going to tell the story of how good Washington really is this year. If they can stay in it with Ohio State and give themselves a chance to win at the end of the game, then you have to feel good about this team moving forward. This is really a big game for them. It's not make or break, but it's really going to tell the story of what we see in this Washington team going forward, and really could be the difference between a great season and a good season. Number 6, Illinois. Honestly, I didn't know what to do with Illinois after that loss to Indiana, but at the end of the day, Illinois is still a good team, and I do have faith in them to rebound from that and get to 8, 9 wins, maybe even get to 10. I don't know. Illinois, to me, is still a good team. I still have high hopes for them, and hopefully they don't let me down. Okay, we've now reached the top 5, and at number 5 we have the USC Trojans, who are off to an amazing start. They already have 2 conference wins this year. That's pretty impressive considering they've only played 4 games. So yeah, they still have a non-conference game to play. But Jade Mayava has just been amazing this year. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, and USC has just been riding that. I mean, it's a great start to the season, and we'll see if it can continue, but USC, you have to be happy with where they are right now, considering what happened last year. So they are on the right track, and hey, who knows what's going to happen this year? I mean, we really don't know. The Big Ten just looks really deep this year. At number 4, we have Indiana, and Fernando Mendoza has been exactly what this team needed after the spectacular season they had last year. There was concern as to whether they were going to be a one-year wonder or this could continue, and right now it looks like it's going to continue. I mean, they're playing great football, and look what they just did to Illinois, okay? I mean, this team could be better than what they were last year. They could. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got the top 3, and it's going to be the same top 3 as before, but has the order changed? Well, at number 3, it's still Oregon. And the reason I got Oregon number 3 is just because I think Penn State and Ohio State have been just a little bit better than them so far, but Dante Moore has been amazing so far this year, and just the idea for him to sit behind Dylan Gabriel, learn from him, and then take over as a starter, it's looking like a genius decision. And I don't know how many young quarterbacks would have made that, especially when you're a 5-star recruit that started as a true freshman. But the fact that he did that, and now he's playing the way that he is playing, you gotta feel really good if you're an Oregon fan, and if you're a Dante Moore fan. So yeah, it was a really smart decision by him. And then Decorian Moore is doing very well as a guy that's being thrust into a big-time role. And yes, he was a 5-star recruit, but it's always tough for that when you are a true freshman, and when Oregon was dealing with the problems that they were dealing with at receiver. I mean, they were losing a lot, and then they lose their top target, but it's not really affecting them so far. They got Penn State coming up, so this could really set the tone for what happens in the Big Ten. This game right here. And speaking of Penn State, they're coming in at number 2. Now, the defense, they're amazing. No complaints there. The running back duo, no complaints. They're amazing. Drew Aller, I do have a few things I want to say. Right now with Aller, I really do want to see a little more from him. I know the surface stats look great, but I'm just not seeing those wow plays I really want to see from a guy that was being talked about as a Heisman candidate, could be a potential first overall pick. I just haven't seen that from Aller just yet, and who knows, maybe it's James Franklin and the Penn State coaching staff being a little conservative to start the season, or something else, I don't know, but I do want to see Aller do a little bit more. I want to see him go from good to great, and I haven't seen that from him just yet. Maybe things change when they play against Oregon, but until I see it, I am a little concerned. And keep in mind, James Franklin has struggled in the big game. If they can get this win against Oregon and set the tone for the Big Ten season as a whole, that would be big for Penn State. And honestly, I think I'm actually going to break this game down the day after. I think I will break this game down after it's over because, like I said, it's a big game this early in the season, and it could determine who goes to the Big Ten Championship. It could. All right, and at number 1, it's Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State shut down the Texas offense. They were the number 1 ranked team, and Ohio State just shut them completely down. Okay? And, yeah, they are the best team in the country right now. Now, Julian Sain hasn't been spectacular, but he really doesn't have to be in his first year as a starter. And I do expect him to get better as the season goes on. But really, for Ohio State, that defense is just elite right now. Caleb Downs might be the best defensive player in all of college football. He's been that good of a player. And Jeremiah Smith, he's one of the best receivers in all of college football this year. So really, for Ohio State, I mean, even with everything they lost, they are still a really great team. And really, you wouldn't expect anything less from them. But to put on the performance that they did in week 1 was nothing short of spectacular. And really, for Ohio State, they do have an excellent opportunity to repeat as national champions. Alright guys, that was my rankings for the Big Ten through 4 weeks. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who do you think I got right? Who do you think I got wrong? And what would your rankings be? And as always, I'll see you guys next time.